What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we have a quite interesting case when we're talking about the visual aspect, because as you can see, it comes in a two-tone, and we have tempered glass on both sides and on the front, but in not regular, let's say, shape like we usually have, right? So as you can see, it goes in two-tone, black and white, interior, exterior, tempered glass that doesn't cover the whole side on the front, which you can see, and at the back. Now at the back, tempered glass is attached to the steel plate, to the steel back panel, and it's not a see-through because after all we don't see anything at the back except for the cables, right? But just to add that visual aspect when the line continues from the side to the front and then to the back side, which does look appealing without a doubt. Now, this case is definitely something different, and I haven't seen such design in quite a while. Well, not the exact design, but something similar. Let's put it this way. All in all, what I can say right on the start is it's definitely something that is unique. Let's put it this way, a unique case, right? But then we go with, let's say, some specifications, right? So on front, you can go with 3120 or 3140. And at the rear, we have 120 already pre-installed. When we're talking about pre-installed fans, it comes with 3120 addressable RGB PWM. The 120 is at the back, and this is it. You can't place on 140 because the hinges for the tempered glass that you can pop out is basically blocking the additional slot for the 140, so you can't be able to screw it in and attach it to the rear. On front, we have pre-installed two 120, and you can swap those for, I don't know, 3 140 for instance, or 3 120. But when we're talking about radiator support, and this is a bit awkward, let's put it this way, because they lost the opportunity to be able to mount 360 at the top as well, because on front you can place a 360 up to 360, on top you can go up to 240, and this is a shame because the front hinges, the front panel that holds the fans, because you have the fans, then you have the plate that holds the fans, and then you have the possibility to mount the 360 radiator. If they just went with a front plate which has the hinges sticking out that hold the fans, you would still be able to see the RGB lines on the fans on the front tempered glass, and yet still have the possibility to mount a 360 at the top, because of that you can't be able to push the radiator on the front, and if you push the tubes at the rear, the back fan is blocking it. So unfortunately, that's a missed opportunity without a doubt. And I know what they did on front. They really wanted to have the RGB visible on the front tempered glass, which I understand in one way. But losing a possibility to mount something with better performance than a 240, like 360, you know what I'm trying to say. And then we go at the back, where we have 23 millimeters of space for cable management, which is quite alright, and I have nothing against that, really. Nice amount of space for organizing cable management. When we go to the power supply shroud, of course you can go standard ATX power supply, and you have a hard drive bracket cage, which can accommodate two 3.5-inch hard drives. One is going in the caddy and one can be placed on top. The cage for the hard drives is possible to remove front and back. You just have to remove the screw from the bottom, and you can either go with those hard drives or you can go with two 2.5-inch SSDs. That's it. Now, since I'm mentioning storage, it's nothing concerning the storage, but it's an idea, because you have a plate right here that is doing something. I don't know what it is doing, because it's blocking the visual aspect of the GPU, is blocking the 24-pin cable because it doesn't support back connect. So you would like to have it more visible, right? And it's just staying there doing literally nothing. It doesn't help with an airflow, it doesn't help with literally anything. And they lost the opportunity to place two 2.5-inch SSDs, for instance, because it could be done. Just 4-8 screws which blend into that steel plate, and it's possible. You could remove it, you could leave it without, and it's really straightforward to that. Now, when we're talking about the GPU length with the radiator on front, it doesn't matter which one, but 350 millimeters. And I'm talking about the size like 240, 360, 280, not the thickness. 350 millimeters with the radiator, without the radiator 390. Clearance for the CPU cooler is 170, which is really nice. And as already stated, 23 millimeters for the cable management routing. Now, going at the top for the I/O ports, we have a power on button, we have a reset button, which is actually something different, but I'll get to that part later on. And we have USB 3.2 generation 1 times 1, USB 3.2 generation 2 type C times 1, and two 3.5 millimeter jacks, which are microphone and headphone jacks. So that's quite solid when we're talking about the I/O panels. Now, the thing is, what I mentioned about the reset button, you can normally detach the cable from the controller, the hub at the back, and connect it to the port for resetting your PC, right? But at the back, we have a 6 addressable RGB and PWM controller hub basically, because addressable RGB header, SATA header, and PWM header need to be connected. So SATA for power directly to your power supply, and those two other addressable RGB and PWM directly to your motherboard, so you can control the fans and you can control the addressable RGB lights, which is really good. And with the reset button, you can change the modes. Quite solid, I do have to say. Now we go with something else. Now, benchmarks. AIDA 64 Extreme Edition. CPU goes up to 93 degrees and clock speed 4725. This is a bit off because usually this CPU goes from 89 to max 91, 92 in extreme scenarios where 92 actually gives you loads of performance. And definitely not 4725 megahertz, and the GPU is 71. Now, 71 is 5 degrees higher than what I usually get in other cases. And I'll explain why quite soon. Cinebench score, now here is the catch. Starts at 86, finishes at 88. This is temperature buildup, what happens inside this case, and we have clock speed from 4950 to 4900 megahertz, which means that the clock speed, as the thermals rise, the clock speed drops. We're talking about AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, which I usually use, and this is MSI RTX 4080 Super Gaming X Slim. And then, just to continue on the Cinebench scores, 25,586, and it finishes at 25,074. What you get with this case, well, basically what you get with this benchmarks is a conclusion that this case is closed off. And I think from the beginning of the video, you were able to see that, because there is no opening here at the bottom, there is no opening on the side here or on the back side, there is no opening on the front. The only opening is here at the top, which basically has 1 times 10 centimeters of space that gives an intake. And that's not good. That's definitely not good. In those terms, what I would have done if this was my design of the case, perforated steel here, perforated steel over there, if they wanted to keep the tempered glass on front to make that two-tone combination. You don't need to have a side, because as I can feel the side here, it really doesn't heat up. And eventually what they could have done, place a possibility to mount 2 additional fans on the power supply shroud, drill holes here and on the other side to make an intake from this part here. Okay, most of the air will go directly to the GPU, but that doesn't matter because you'll get lower thermals on the GPU, right? And eventually the excessive air that passes near the GPU will eventually hit the AIO or CPU tower cooler or whatever. So this would have been quite nice, and it wouldn't look bad because we have loads of flow cases with perforated steel in white combination that still has that nice clean white look. So they wouldn't lose the two-tone combination of white and black. So yeah, I mean, that's really unfortunate because I see only 2 problems here. That's the airflow, which is basically the biggest problem, and the minor problem is that steel plate, which was a bit of a missed opportunity, as well as the 360 on top. Because if you measure the 360, it can fit. You can actually put it here near the front and it can fit. But when you actually try to wiggle it inside, it actually blocks because of those hinges up on front. So yeah, I'm kind of not basically speechless, because I thought we left these cases a couple of years back and that we didn't see those for quite a long time, because everybody's going either with perforated steel on front with fine mesh, or we have normal mesh panels on front that have dust filters or whatever, and that we are losing these type of cases. I mean, usually, I mean, this is better than those some OEM cases that have RGB fans sticked to the tempered glass. These are actually separated by 2 centimeters. Don't get me wrong, that's still better than those fans sticking on the tempered glass, which don't do anything. But we could have had better performance without a doubt. The only thing that I would like to mention, and this is honest, of course, we have the LIQMAXFLO SR 240, which doesn't have RGB fans. But if you remember my reviews from LIQMAXFLO 360 and 420, which I was extremely satisfied with the performance, not just because it has a thicker radiator, but they really perform because the contact on AMD is with 4 points, not like the original retention brackets with 2 points. So, you know, I'm quite surprised, and it's not in the most positive way. We also have here the F12 Revolution, which is a compact ATX power supply in white and black. And imagine this, white comes with white cables and cable comms because they're sleeved. So when you take into consideration everything I had so far with ENERMAX reviews discussing the cases, because they had prior to this one outstanding cases with front airflow, AIOs, which perform outstandingly good, power supplies that are really solid, and you can't complain about those. And then we have this type of case, which, yeah, that's what all I can say. I mean, I don't usually get speechless. I don't usually lose words when I do either reviews or when I talk in general. But this type of things are something that, I don't know. If you're looking for aesthetic, this could be for you. I don't know. But if you're looking for pure performance, where you're looking for each segment that needs to perform, including the case, then you know what my answer is. The link in the description for the LIQMAXFLO SR 240, because it's really good 240 AIO, believe me. And it has a VRM fan, just like the LIQMAXFLO 360 and 420, adjustable RGB and all of that. Just the fans aren't they're regular. And the power supply, the links are in the description below, so you can check out all their stuff and choose what suits you best. But yeah, that's it. Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking by till the end of the video. And hopefully I will see you soon in another one. Bye-bye.